Hi, this is Ron with Stay Sharp Guide again. We're going to go a little bit deeper now into the science of sharp. From a bow hunter standpoint, sharp is something we should all care a great deal about. Not all heads are coming from the factories as sharp as we'd like them, and when we use a broadhead for practice or we shoot an animal with it, we want to return it back to a razor's edge. What exactly does that mean, to return it to a razor's edge? How do you quantify that? I picked up some gear that's going to help me quantify that. One of them is this BESS certified sharpness meter or sharpness scale. And I'm going to blow this up a little bit bigger for you so you can read it, but it tells you what sharp means when cutting through a certified test media, which looks a lot like 2-pound test line when you're fishing. But this is a special test media that will go in this holder. When I have the media stretched across here, I will slowly press a blade through. When it cuts it, that tells me the amount of force it took to cut that certified media. On top of that, I'm going to be looking at the sharpness under a 1600 power USB microscope that I'll have hooked to my laptop. So not only will we be able to see sharp or degrees of sharpness, but then we can test for sharpness as well. Now, as I said, we all know sharp. Well, some of the things I'm going to be testing are a brand new shaving razor blade, a brand new box cutter blade, a brand new Havalon blade, and then what I'm going to be doing next is putting that up against a broadhead blade. I have an expectation of what sharp is based on these known sharp blades, and I would like to be able to get there. Now, at each grit, I'm going to be getting a burr. If you don't know what that means, click down on my description. I've got a couple of videos about getting a burr. If you're a bow hunter and you're sharpening blades, you're going to care about that. It's the key to getting something sharp. Why am I using multiple grits? Because you can't get something sharp with one grit. If I start with 240, my blade's dull, I hit a bone, I pass through an animal, I got some touch-up to do, I'm probably going to start with 240. The test is going to show me what 240 looks like and how sharp it is. Then I'm going to go to 400. Why 400? Because I need to get rid of all the scratches that 240 created. I can't leave any behind on the very edge of this blade. I can't leave any of the 240 scratches behind, so I need to get rid of all of those at 400 and create a burr and establish a new edge. Why do I need to go to 800? Because I need to get rid of all of the 400 scratches. 1200 gets rid of all of the 800 scratches. 2500 gets rid of all of the 1200 scratches. Cutthroat factory bevel. Cutthroat heads are especially hard. You can use wet dry sandpaper, but just know you're going to use an awful lot of it. That's why I prefer diamond plates. So I've gone through 240, 400, and now I'm already up to 800 grit. I've got a little bit of flattening to do. You can see on each end I'm still not correcting everything that Cutthroat did. Remember, they do it on a belt sander by hand, so you own some flattening of the edge. But once this is all flattened out, and you can see on this end and on this end, I'm not hitting it across the board, you'll want to check for a burr. The number of strokes doesn't matter. The time you spent doesn't matter. Did you get a burr? So this piece of paper runs right up against the burr. I know I've reached a burr, and as I go forward, see, now I can see here on the tip, I haven't reached a burr. You need to get that burr all the way across the edge. Once you've flattened the entire edge, corrected the profile, and achieved a burr, then use the grit that you were using to break off that burr. Put it on there, tip it flat, and just give it a stroke. That'll break off that burr. Now I'm being a little bit premature because I haven't cleaned up the entire edge, but that's how you would break the burr off of a single bevel. Now, alright, so now I just completed 1200 grit. And how do I know I've completed 1200 grit? I've got that burr again, and I've got it all the way across the blade edge. What do you do when you get a burr at 1200? You break off the 1200 grit burr with the same 1200 grit that you created it with. So now I'll progress to 2500 grit. So as you can see, I'm running the Stay Sharp guide without any tape on the rollers. That gets you 24 degrees. If you look at the back of the package, it says right there 25 degree single bevel. But again, these are done by them. It appears to be on a belt sander, and no two are the same. It may be 24, it may be 25, it may be 26, 28. So if you've got a batch that seems to be a little bit steeper angle, you may find that you need to put tape on it. I like to run my cutthroats without any tape, just get the 24 degree bevel. It may mean correcting what they did, and they gave you some that were at 26 or higher. You don't have to match the factory bevel. They were designed at a 25. This happens to be 24, which is my preference, 24 degrees. So it's entirely up to you. Do you want to add tape to the roller to boost the angle a little bit or not? I don't. Alright, so here now we've gone up to 2500 grit. We need to get rid of the scratches that 1200 created. In order to know that we've gotten rid of all of the 1200 grit scratches, we have to reach a burr at 2500. Again, we're running into that burr. So I know I've gotten rid of all of the scratches from 1200 with 2500 once I've reached that burr. Again, pinch it flat. Again, we're not trying to create a bevel on the back side. We just want to break off the burr. So we have a 2500 grit burr on the back side. We're breaking that off with 2500 grit. Now we can check to see that we've got it all. A little bit still on the tip. The rest is all gone, so I've got a little bit right there to get rid of. When all of that burr is gone at 2500 grit, I'm now going to use buffing compound on cereal box cardboard to do the final buff, and then we'll check for sharpness. Now, you may notice there's some wear that occurs on your guide. That's normal, and if you look at the frequently asked questions page at staysharpguide.com, you're going to see the wear. Once that wear happens, it never gets any worse. It's broken in on the first head, and then after that it stops. Again, I'm not using tape on the rollers. They just are stock for the 24 degrees. So next I will do buffing compound, and then we'll do a little bit of inspection under the microscope and do a sharpness test. Alright, so here is our cutthroat head after sharpening. Let's do another cut to see how it tests out. So, the cutthroats are a great head. They don't come sharp. They don't claim to come sharp. They tell you that you're going to need to do some work. And with a little bit of work, well, the first time it's a lot of work. Establishing that new edge the very first time is a pain in the butt. But the results speak for themselves. You know, it's a magnitude sharper. Each time you sharpen now after that, once you've established the angle with the guide, every time you sharpen after that, so you've taken an animal or you've practiced with it, the second sharpening is a heck of a lot easier than the third. It's that first one where you're trying to correct some of the stuff that Cutthroat did that is a real pain, but it's well worth it. These are fantastic heads. I've had a lot of success with them. So there you have it. That's the fixed blade guide and the Cutthroat single bevel. After you've spent all that time getting a head sharp, especially a head like a Cutthroat that's carbon steel, you'll want to protect it. I did an evaluation of a lot of different corrosion preventatives, and the two winners were the Hornady One Shot and the WD-40 corrosion inhibitor. Just spray it on a rag. Get it all over that head. This head is going to rust like crazy. This is not stainless steel. Give it a good coat. You've spent a lot of time sharpening this head. The last thing you want is that very fine wire edge to become rusty. So either of these are top notch when it comes to keeping corrosion at bay. I'm going to link in the description a corrosion study I did that might help you out, but this isn't stainless. You're going to need to put something on this edge to keep it from rusting.